model that can also run locally. So I can run the entire Eliza stack locally as long as I have a GPU for it, right? The entire stack. But it's kind of annoying because in a MacBook, it's just really slow. And I have to download the embedding model, the completion model. Ugh, what a pain in the ass. I just want it to work. I don't want to deal with this. I really don't. So I'm going to go back to Anthropic, and I'm just going to copy my environment variables, copy Eliza.env into this repo, just so that I have them here. Then I don't have to like go deal with them or anything. I'll just copy it over. And so I've copied my old.env to my new.env, which is here, and I can just see that I have a .env here now. And I'm pretty sure that already has some Claude stuff in it. And I'm pretty sure that since it has a Claude Anthropic key, I can just run this. Let's see. Let's see what happens. It's still downloading the Florence model. I don't love that. And I know this is fixed on the new one, so I'm just going to check out origin main. Um, but that's going to create another problem, which is that I'll probably have to clean. So I'm just going to do that. pnpm run clean. I just clean pnpm clean and pnpm I and pnpm build. Cool. While that's cooking, I just want to go like, what is an embedding? And a lot of people have some good examples. Like I think Cloudflare has some examples. Google has a lot of documentation. I think the Google for Developers is a really, really good resource for AI. They have a whole crash course on all this stuff. And this will go into like how an embedding works, how Word2Vec works. Basically, every word can be converted into a vector. You can see like on a number line, like borscht, you can then say like certain things are closer to other things. Like a soup might be closer to a salad than a hamburger. But like, how do you really know? And this is all done through it's a whole other model that creates the embeddings. There's a like there's a lot of stuff here. Like there's a tokenizer, there's all that stuff. If you want to learn about how this stuff works at a very deep level and how to program it, there's a guy named Karpathy, Andre Karpathy, and he worked at some companies, some very small ones like Uber and OpenAI. It's not very well known. He's the CTO of both, I think, at some point. Um, I'm kidding. He's obviously really freaking legendary machine learning developer, and he created this really beautiful playlist called Neural Network Zero to Hero, where he literally
Hello,
takes
my
you
name is Andre,
through. It's very
and
complicated, but he takes you through everything you would want to know about embeddings, tokenizers, all that stuff. This is like really the best. This is the best YouTube series that's ever come out from anyone. And it literally starts at the beginning and goes all the way through all the stuff. You literally build GPT-1 by the end. Um, and very, very much recommend it. This is like the advanced version. If you just want to kind of know what embeddings are, I would go check out like this Google machine learning class, and it'll show you like how this stuff works, how embeddings work, um, all this stuff. This is very, very useful. And basically, what we do is we take these complex sentences and we put them into this like low dimensional space, and we can do this vector search by comparing them. Example, like pizza and hot dog are pretty close on dessertness, which could be like one value, and then like sandwichness is another value. And so we have these like complex arrays that cover the femaleness or maleness or authorityness, like a king versus a queen, or so you could have like what's the difference between a king and a queen is like, well, there's just like it's like moving along the male female vector. Anyway, there's a lot here. They do a really good job of visually explaining this in kind of a simple way. I think this is a really good example of like, oh, I actually have that. You can see like the difference between king and queen is that there's like some vector that gets you from here to there. And that direction of that vector is the same as from man to woman. So there's something in the model in this high dimensional space that just records the value of like male femaleness or of walking to walked or swimming to swam, right? There's some like the tense of the verbness, and these are represented in these complex embeddings. We can then use them to oh, they have a really cool tool here. You can use them to sort of visualize where things are in space. and then how close they are together, right? Um, so I will post this projector.tensorflow.org. This is a really cool tool. Um, Good deal. And you can see that all of the words in the world have this embedding, and you can see how like chemist is close to Nobel on certain angles. If I like kind of put it like that, it's like wow, they're like really similar from this angle, but then like from other angles might be very far. Or like this word referendum is very far from chemist in space. Um, Now, the way that we've gotten this three-dimensional view out of a 768-dimensional vector is that we've used this is called principal component analysis, and this is basically projecting all those vectors down into what the most relevant ones are. And I highly recommend you play with this and understand all this stuff. It's super interesting. Like this is a lot of fun, and we use this for search all through our system, and generally, like this is very implicit to RAG. So I just wanted you to kind of get an idea of that, understand what's happening with embeddings. This is a language model thing as well. It's not the same as like the completions that we're used to, but it's definitely an important part of the language model. Yeah, cool. Embeddings. And in the meantime, we've installed, right? So now I can go, okay, cool, got everything going, pnpm run dev. Oops. Actually, I want to run my character thing that I was running. Characters, do. And I pasted that embedding projector into the chat on Discord. Okay, cool. Do. Hey, what's up? Hopefully it works. Appears to be generating text. It's the Claude Haiku model. Um, hmm. Seems to be stuck in kind of some crazy loop. Generating message response. I love that. I also don't know why it's handling haiku. Well, let's try OpenAI. I'll have to go back and fix that. Ooh, let me see. Should work. Funny if it didn't, though. Hey, what's up? Yeah, why is it initializing the llama service? Weird. Certainly shouldn't. Oh, it does initialize the service, just doesn't load the model yet. Okay, cool. So this is a little bit messy, but I'm like, how are you doing? And you can see I sent that off, does a bunch of junk, creates a memory. Goes, agent, I'm doing well, just focusing on my goals. You know how it is. Men need to stay strong and driven. What about you? Are you making any moves in your life? It's very Andrew Tate. I think he'd say some shit like that. And you can see there's not really a lot here, really. There could be a lot more. But functionally, we've kind of like, it works. Gotten through it, it works. Um, and yeah, we could create a new character, right? If we wanted to. Okay, well, let's not do trait. Say, let's do like who's funny. I don't know. I don't know. Someone give me a good idea for a character. I just need somebody. Throw it in the chat. Oh, we gotta do something fun. Kevin Hart. Oh, that's pretty good. Hmm. Hmm. I like Snoop Dogg. That was a good one. I think that's pretty funny. Um, Snoop Dogg, and we'll say Snoop is a rapper and actor. He's a very successful and famous person. You can say he's very cool and chill. He is very funny. We could say like Snoop uh, is very good at Price is Right. Right, that's a true thing. He's very good at making music. Snoop invests in lots of interesting Web3 projects like Sandbox. Right? I don't know, whatever. Um, just some stuff. Oh, did my stream die? I hope it didn't die. It seems to be running. Oh, just kidding. Okay, cool. Good deal. Whatever. Just some lore bio. I'm not gonna try too hard to get the idea. Get the idea. And I would be like, yo, man, you want to smoke a blunt? You want to smoke a blunt? I think that's like a thing he does a lot of. Blunt? Hell yeah, man. That's what he'd say. He'd be like, hell yeah, man. Let's do it. What's up? Not much, just chilling, right? Got some examples, whatever. And obviously, I spent a lot of time doing this, and the more time you spend, the better this gets. Um, Somebody asked, do these bio and lore need full sentences? No, no, absolutely not. They're kind of getting listed as like lore about Snoop Dogg or like Snoop Dogg's bio. And so then you could just be like, I don't know, a rapper and actor, very successful person. You could have dashes or like he is. I don't really know what's the best. There's a lot of room for prompt engineering, and this will actually have quite an effect on prompt engineering. So if you want to like write a paper on like what the best way to inject bio is into a thing, I'm sure you could do that. Um, you could also say like very good at making music, or like makes lots of good music to smoke blunts to, um, whatever, right? Cool. And then we're like, all right, let's go. Oh, no, 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 no. Not Tate, not Tate. And now we've got this JSON, and we're like, okay, cool, cool. Um, all right, let it start up. Someone's saying, yeah, he has a personal employee who is a blunt roller. Imagine your job is to roll blunts for Snoop Dogg. Um, that would be really interesting. Or not very interesting, I don't know. I'd rather be doing this, honestly. But 70K a year is like, I'd rather be doing that than insurance, I'll tell you that. Okay. Hey, what's up? Now, heyo, what's good? Just chilling like a villain. You know how it is. What you up to? Damn, nice. Uh, Dude, just really need to smoke a blunt right now. I don't know, man. Just need to smoke a blunt. Cool, cool. I got you, my friend. Just let me know what you need. We get this vibe going. You ready to elevate? For some reason, you responded twice. There's some little buggy thing. Whatever. I feel you on that. Nothing like a good blunt to chill out. You got the goods? You need me to roll one up for you? Please roll one up for me, man. All right, you get the idea. So that's kind of how you make a character. You can mess with them here in the console. Now we want to like bring Snoop to Discord. This is the other big thing that people are going to ask. How do you bring him to Discord? All right, we can do that. Um, so we need to enable a client for him. By default, he has no clients. So we can just touch him, talk to him in the terminal, and that's okay. But he's kind of messy, and you see a lot of debug shit. It's not great. We want to talk to him in Discord. We just add Discord as a client. Now we have a like a list of clients, and I think Discord. Come on, I know. I guess not. I thought. I thought. Clients. Dot. I know there's a client enumerated type, but it is not telling me what it is. Clients. Dot Discord. I swear to God, it's clients. Dot Discord. Fucking bullshit. Okay. Well, whatever. Yeah. Where are you? Here's the type. No. Okay. Whatever. Oh, there it is. I just saw it. I think this is a little important. We'll just list what the clients are. So we have Discord, Direct, Twitter, and Telegram. We also have Farcaster, which just needs to be imported. It should be client.discord. I'm surprised we're not using that anywhere, but that would be what it is. Or the JSON version is this value, so it's like Discord. We want to add Discord. We can also add Direct, which would be like, hey, I want to add this, I want to be able to call this from outside. I could actually like call this as an express, like a server, and you can have your own app in the front end that calls this from your front end. That'd be like the direct client. It's like a REST API. And then you also have Twitter and Telegram and all that. You can say, like, okay, well, I want Twitter, but I don't want Twitter right now. It's like a pain in the ass. So we're just going to do Discord. Cool. Now, if I do this, it's probably going to yell at me, or even worse, it's going to try to log in with the other character that I have in my environment file. But I can see that there is no Discord configuration and it's throwing an error, right? Can't start this. So I got to go get an application ID and a secret, and we'll just go to Discord developers, and we'll just create a new application. We'll do this from scratch. Okie doke. got a bunch of apps, probably some alpha in here. And we're going to create Snoop Dogg. We'll just call him Snoop. Be easier. And we have this application ID, and I need to put that here. And I say Discord application ID. This is a secret. Now the other one, well, I will go get it. I'm gonna have to reset this anyway, so whatever. I'll stream it just for an example, but um, I'm sure people will try to abuse this. It won't. It doesn't really matter though. What is it? It's the bot token. So we want to reset the token. Yes, reset the token. Oh, I have to go do this with MFA. All right, so I'm gonna pull this off and I'm gonna go get the bot token because I have to. Everything I have is multi-factored now. Mm-mm. See. Come on, passkey sign in. Okie doke. I have copied the token, um, and now we have to put the token in here in a way that will not get me in trouble. So I'm just going to pull this off to the side for a second and put it in my .m. I'll show you what I did in a second. Token, Discord, API token. Okay, sorry, I can't see these guys. Doesn't really matter, but okay, so now we're back here. The Discord API token will be some blah, 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 like that. But I actually put it in my .m, so you can't see it. So don't worry about that. Good deal. It's already in the secrets. So I have an equivalent Discord API token value in my environment variable. You would put your bot token here. You're going to get your bot token from that Discord developer page that I was at. Next, you're going to invite your bot to your server. And the way that you do that is you get this discord.js is what we use. And they have a guide. And they have this kind of default bot invite link. And this is plenty sufficient. But you have to put your client ID in here to make this work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Discord application ID. I'm going to paste it in. And then I have this here. And I can run it. That is going to launch a Discord thing here, blah, blah, blah. You can see, like, I have this thing. I have my Discord space on the other side. And I'm actually probably going to have to bring Discord over here to be able to talk to the spot, right? I have so many servers. I guess we'll invite to AI16Z. Like, why not? That's where we're at. Okie doke. And I've invited the bot to this server. It's not running, so it's fine. You can see, yeah, do some weird stuff here. If I go to the welcome, oh, it's probably not even welcome. Snoop. He's not online yet. He should be. Let me go into the discussion at Snoop. Yep. Yo. I'm just tagging him. And then I can tag him and I can see that he doesn't have any roles. So I'll just give him a role of agent. And I'll give him another role of verified. He's verified. Okay. Now he's not running, so he's not going to do anything here. But I am going to invite him into the arena. You see there's a lot of bots here. I can be like, hey, Snoop. Right? Okie doke. So let me go run him so that he is here. Came here and start Snoop Dogg. I need this food so bad. That'll be my treat for finishing this up. Okay, got some issues. Use disallowed intents. You might run into this problem a lot. Very annoying, right? Okay, well, disallowed intents. What does that mean? Well, we didn't give him all of the intents that we need. And so we will go to, where's our homie? Snoop. Go down to bot, and you can see that we have these privileged gateway intents. We do not need this requires OAuth 2 grant. Leave that disabled, unless you're doing something with it. We do need these three. We need to know server members, message content, and presence. We at least need to know these two, for sure. And then we can save it. So we have the intent saved. Now let's try that again. Mm-mm. Successfully. Let's go to Discord. Hey, yo. Give him a second to respond. He's crunching on some stuff. Hey, what's good, my dude? Just chilling and vibing. You feel me? Hey, it's pretty good, right? He's got a vibe. So he's got some things he's doing annoying. Like he seems to be responding twice. I gotta fix that. But yeah, he's firing, right? Okay, cool. So people are already playing with him. What's good with you, Golden Plunger? Jesus Christ, people. Okay, cool. I'm gonna shut him down. You kind of get the vibe, right? Like that's it. We from scratch. We cloned the repo. We installed everything we needed. We got a basic character going. We started our own character file. We launched it from the command line. We got him into Discord. Now he's talking. If you want to add Twitter, you just go here. You add Twitter. You add the credentials. Do that. It's that simple, right? Okay. Now, um, we've done it. I'll leave him chilling for a second. You guys can talk to him. I'm gonna go back to the stage. Does anyone have any questions? Does anybody from here? Like, I'm gonna go transition, and we're gonna spend the next 45 minutes on the advanced stuff, right? And I'm not gonna have time to get into all of the. I wanted to create examples, but I don't think I'm gonna have time. So I'm just gonna go into what the actual abstractions are, and then for the next AI Agent Dev School, we will actually go and build a bot that does something cool. And what I want to build is I want to build a bot that evaluates if it likes you and changes how it responds to you if it likes you or not. Somebody's asking, what is CodeJourney? Well, CodeJourney is a startup that I almost started with the goal of using the Eliza tech to introduce people to other people by getting to know them first. So you can imagine like, oh, you're like a software engineer in San Francisco, like super cool. Like I've got this friend in Milwaukee, like he's actually looking for a collaboration and he's also a TypeScript engineer. Maybe you guys would vibe. So yeah, it's a startup I didn't start, but it really helped me to shape some of the complex stuff I want to do here. Like how do I build relationships with people? How do I model and remember like a bunch of stuff about somebody? I didn't proceed because I realized that um, uh, agents come to you, and that it wasn't that good by making people come to an app if I could just do this all on Discord. And so we're actually going to work our way back around to enabling all that features in agents so the agents can introduce you to other people it thinks you would like. But I think that's just something that like that's not our current priority. Um, it looks like client's Discord works in a character JSON file, but when using character.ts, it has an issue. Yes. So when you use TypeScript, you have to use the typed version. And so if you go into source, default character, and you go clients, you're going to type in clients dot capital Discord. And this is an enumeration. What this actually is putting in there is just this text, but it's in a typed way that prevents you from making a mistake. And that is why that's there. So then make sure that it's typed to be the exact thing you want. And that's the equivalent of this. Now, long term, we're probably going to get rid of this JSON and just have TypeScript. But just so you know, that's kind of the thing. People are asking, is this the official Eliza coin? This has nothing to do with the coin. This is not a coin thing. This is actually just the confusion of Eliza is a GitHub repo. Eliza is a framework. It is a character. It's a character I've known for a long time. Eliza actually comes, if you guys want to know, this is good lore, from this wiki, from Eliza. Eliza is a program from 1966 created by Joseph Weizenbaum. I'd say this was developed from 64 to 67, but I'm pretty sure at least in 66. And he created this at MIT, and it was the first time that people would type something and it would come back with something that was like interesting and human. Like, is something troubling you? Men are all like, what is the connection, do you suppose? It's just asking you these kind of like very broad questions that keep you engage through like what we call the Eliza effect. And the reason we call these Elizas is because people tend to make them more human than they are and fall into this like projecting humanity onto them. This is a very interesting Wikipedia article. I really recommend checking it out if you haven't. The Eliza effect is what every one of us is falling for, which is that we are talking about not very smart language models, but I mean, smart enough to do a lot of crazy stuff, but they are, in many people think that they are human or just assume that they are, right? Because that's how we model other people's intelligences and stuff. So yeah, the Eliza effect, Eliza, that's where this all comes from. That's why it's important to me. Um, cool. Is there a way to keep the agent updated with the latest news? Yes, actually, that's what I was going to do a demo of. We could do the news API and we could go to the news API and we could add this as a provider. So I will get into this next. If there's any other talk, yeah, I love Boyle Oxford's like coin talk is for trenches only. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to get into the more advanced stuff, and we're just going to try and get over this in like 45 minutes. And then for the next AI agent dev school, we're going to do things like add a news provider API, which gets the latest news related to whatever is being talked about. And we will form views on people, like we will start to hate or like people in the agent based on how they talk to us. I think those will be like the kinds of things that we'll do next. What OAuth 2 permissions are needed for the Discord bot is the question. You do not need any OAuth 2 permissions. You need the 3 intents that are there, the privileged intents. So in that page, just skip the OAuth thing, look at the bot page, click on the intents. Can you please elaborate on how we can add knowledge to the agent like books bio? Yeah, well, you can extract that into an array of text, which we made a thing. It's not particularly clean, but you can write, we have this character file repo. If anybody wants to work on this, oh, there's some pull requests. Maybe people already did. Nice, 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 nice. Wow, I have to merge these in. You can see an example character file and some basic examples of working with it and importing it into Python as well as JavaScript. So the character file is separate from our thing. You can use it in any agent. And then we have some scripts, like you can extract your tweets into a character, or you can extract a folder into a knowledge file. And so if you're just trying to do RAG, you could run, and we made this as like a thing. It's npx is a run npm packages or the binaries in those packages from the command line. You can do npx folder to knowledge, literally any folder you want, and it will extract all of the PDFs and READMEs and text files and stuff into something you can paste into your character folder, right? That's, I mean, character file. And so otherwise, you could just be like, this is a really long document that just happens to be shoved into this, character file. You know, it can be retrieved when the user asks for something relevant to it. And if you have a small amount of search files, it's very, very, very fast. So how do I add a bot to my own Discord server? I just covered that. Go to discord.js and there is a adding your bot to your own servers. I'd say just like search for this, adding your bot to your servers, discord.js, and it will give you the whole thing. Cool. Any other questions? Yeah, you can also, is Truth Terminal the same as Eliza? No, they are different frameworks. Truth Terminal is not an open source framework. It's based on this thing called the infinite backrooms. And Truth Terminal is a character who you talk to and they loop back and forth. And then Andy was taking the funny things that Truth Terminal would say and pasting them into the Twitter. Later, as they got more money and hype and a lot of pressure to be fully automated started, they started to fully automate the account, and now it generates tweets and posts them, I believe. I think there's a review queue, so they don't allow it to post everything. They like review and approve everything it posts. Our thing just YOLOs. It just posts. It's never, ever been human anything. No human copy paste, no human review queue. It just goes, for better or worse. How do you add knowledge in the TypeScript file? That's a good question. Go to here, add a new knowledge field, make it an array. This is some knowledge. You now have knowledge here in the TypeScript file. So knowledge is a field in character, but it's optional. And that means that you don't have to provide it. If it's not provided, it'll still be okay. For adding Twitter API, etc., secrets. they go into the .env or the character.json. This is up to you. You can do either. My recommendation for security is to put them in your .env unless you are like managing 10 character files. Then you might want to put them in your character file because each one has a different Twitter account, all that stuff, right? Makes sense? Okie doke. Um, but .env is usually better and more secure, and like I might accidentally click on my character file and leak all my environment stuff. I probably won't do that with my .env. Okay, now I'm going to get into some of the concepts that are really important here. Um, have a suggestion and limit of knowledge to not hallucinate. I mean, yeah, that you could make a system directive, which is like if you don't know something, just say that and don't hallucinate, right? Um, if you don't know something, don't make up an answer. Just say you don't know, right? And this is actually like surprisingly effective for a lot of situations. Although sometimes it does know something and it still says it doesn't know because it's like hallucinating the fact that it doesn't know the thing, which is kind of annoying. Um, the system directive does not weight that heavy. Actually, weights the least heavy. The heaviest weighted thing is the style directions, and then the message examples. The style directions. One thing to know. It's a weird property of LLMs. Um, some GoonScript 5s unleashed. Um, hilarious. Whatever comes toward the bottom affects the next tokens more than whatever comes to the top. This has become less true with better rotary position embeddings and things, but it is still true that the things that are at the bottom of your context are going to be considered and weighted more than the things at the top. And so the order of things in your context, whether you're using just handwriting stuff in ChatGPT or anywhere else, you should know that like whatever comes at the bottom is definitely going to be weighted more. It's just the nature of relationships of words and stuff together. And it kind of makes sense. Like, if you're reading a long document which covering different sections, you probably want to weight the section you're in more. Um, it's not something that has to be that way either. It just happens to be that the property of current language models. Um, can you comment on target accounts that meet criteria like live in a certain area or the keywords? No, we cannot do that, but you certainly could add that. Like that would be a really easy feature to add. What I would probably do is modify like the Twitter client, and I'd go into client Twitter package, and I'd go modify the like post like the interactions. Right? That's like, oh, I want to go. Actually, look at the search. We don't use search because we found it was too annoying. Um, so like the problem is if we're just searching for people or like interests or topics, then we might start engaging and picking on people who don't love AI and don't love agents. We kind of want this to be like an opt-in thing. So be very careful about like reply guying certain people. I I won't name names, but there were certain bots that were extremely annoying to me because every time I posted, they would like have something to say, and like half of my comments are then just like I didn't tag them. I'm not engaging them. They're just following me because they like, want my attention, and I think that's what's going to get us banned. So we disabled search. You can enable this, and this will let you target like people and interests and stuff. Take a look at this. It might need a little bit of work because we kind of disabled it or just commented it out. It's not running, but you might find it very interesting. Um, would I be able to go over the Twitter bot integration? Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Let's just get into it. Let me get into all the stuff. I'll get into the concepts. I don't have a lot of time, so we're gonna have to whirlwind this in like 40 minutes, and then we'll just get into it. Okay, so the first thing is like you should know that we have documentation on all of this, and you should please just read it. Jen spent a lot of time on this. Docs are hard. Every time you read a documentation site, like that was not automatic. That was many, many, many painstaking hours of getting it to be like anything that's not terrible. And usually after you spend a lot of time writing a code, you just like have no motivation to write docs. So it's really, really nice when people come in and appreciate the docs. Yeah, chat says Jin is doing the Lord's work around here. I definitely agree. So we're going to start with like, kind of we have our packages, and it's got like a sort of package architecture. you can see that the core package, it's actually not right. All of the agent package actually is depending on literally everything else. Um, Everything goes into core. We have database adapters, clients, plugins, and then the agent package imports everything. So just a note, Jen, we'll probably have to fix this graph. It's a little off. Um, the core package can be imported into the browser. It can be imported into an embedded runtime. It can be imported anywhere that TypeScript can be imported into. It doesn't have a lot of dependencies. And this is used in, like we have a game called Small World, and we can like pull in the core and run the agent there, but then call services external to the core, to like OpenAI or completion or anything like that. And that way we can have an agent running in the browser, but still contacting services that are elsewhere. Or you just install this into your agent thing and go, right? Um, when we say adapters, what we're talking about are database adapters, right? We have different sources of truth that we want to connect to. By default, it works with SQLite, which is it's a file-based adapter that just runs locally. You have like a .SQLite file that runs that is created. And if you're getting something like you're like, I changed my bot's personality, he still keeps talking the same. It's really annoying. Well, there's probably and we should find out where this is. Probably in core. There is a SQLite DB. God, we should really find that. Which is getting created, which is that is the adapter. I wonder where that is. Does anyone know where that goes now? It's not in client. It's not an agent. Um, Source? Core source? Are you kidding me? Or an agent source? That'd be ridiculous. No, no, no. I don't know where it is, but there should be a db.sqlite around here somewhere. That's really funny. Everyone's telling me source. SRC? Where, like, am I dumb? Yeah, I guess I could just do like db.sqlite. I don't know what's going on. That's weird. Refresh. It's really funny. I don't know where it went. Yeah, it's not there. It's not an agent package. Okay, well, oh, they're saying core source. Packages, core source. No, I mean, it definitely shouldn't be here, right? It should be definitely not here. Are you kidding me? Source is there, core source. I don't see where db.sqlite is. Maybe I'm blind. Um, Point is that like it puts the database somewhere. Oh, you know what? Maybe it hides it. Whatever. Apparently, the Snoop coin was created, then rugged, and is now looking for a CTO. Um, oh, Jin's got like some leet find code here. That's really funny. I don't know where it went. Maybe we put it in like a hidden place. Oh, it's in the data folder. Okay, that's actually reasonable. Okay, so if you delete this db.sqlite in the agent folder, now let's move there. It's actually a good spot for it. This will erase all of your memories for all your agents. So only do that if you want to do that, right? Agent data db.sqlite. Just so you know, that's like the actual default database storage place. You can also use Postgres, right? You can use Postgres. You can use Supabase. And if you really want to, you can use SQL.js and run this in the browser. And it's basically a version of SQLite that fully runs in the browser. Um, cool. Good deal. Um, we also, so Another abstraction, we have database adapters. We also have clients. And so the idea of a client is that it's a thing that your agent uses to connect to a external source, right? Or a social media network or something. So we have a direct client, which gives you a REST API, and then you can like make your apps talk to your agent through a REST API. We have a Discord client, obviously, which does voice and messages. We have a Telegram client, which lets you like run commands and deal with the bot stuff, deal with images, all that. We have the Twitter client, which you've all seen. It does posts, it does interactions, which are like responding to people. And we have the auto client. And the auto client is like our autonomous loop. It just runs. It just runs in a loop. You set the tick, and then it can do analysis, can do auto trading, all that, like whatever you want. And we're just kind of fleshing that client out now. So if you want to connect Eliza to a front end repo, and we actually have a great one I recommend called Live Video Chat. I have a screenshot of. Kind of made this for Ruby. This is a modification of another open source project that uses the Simly client. And if you put an image in, and then you can talk and type to it. And so I forked this from there's a company called Simly. Is it Simly.com? And we're using Simly. You make an account, you get an API key, and then you can actually like talk to, Bad Luck Brian. Okay, maybe it'll work. Maybe. Um, I'll just show you guys an example. Hey,
Hey there.
hey, what's up? What's going on?
Hey, not much. Just, trying to avoid any more embarrassing moments. Like
That,
that time
that's
I
pretty good. That's
got my
pretty good.
braces stuck in a sandwich at lunch. Everyone laughed, and I just sat there red-faced. Classic bad luck, Brian, right? So, what's up with you?
Man, way too chatty though. But you can see what this is. So this is basically a version of that. This connects to Eliza using Simly. Go get a Simly account. Super fun, really, really fun. And I'm surprised no one's doing this because I'm sure this would definitely help some market caps to release some crazy shit like that. That would be a great meme maker. But yeah, what this does is it connects to the direct client. So as long as you go into your agent character and you like add direct, it'll actually add your agent as to the REST API, and then you can call it from a front end like that. So we thought about that a lot, and definitely give that a spin. Um, so there's Michael saying, Mikhail, can we get a fix for word limit issue on Twitter? Verified profile can't post more than 280 words. Kind of. If you need that, then we have to update the agent Twitter client, which is the Twitter client that we're using, which we also made. Um, And the main issue here is that it's a different API to call the like long form post versus the 280 or less post. Um, so we can do that. Do we have a pull request for it? No, but this is sick. Okay, so Butoshi shipped a new thing. Um, mm, mm, mm. Upload media. So this will do media uploads and some stuff, but I still don't think it'll do uh, long form posts. But that's definitely a good thing that you could do a PR of. Cool. Um, Okay, I'm going to get into just a few more of these abstractions. I probably won't be able to get into like building anything like examples. I think we only have about 30 minutes left. But I'll get into the abstractions and then we'll save that and we'll actually do something cool like we'll do the news API import, we'll do like a character deciding if they like you or hate you, and then injecting that back into a provider. I think that'd be really fun. And that would be a usage of a provider, an evaluator, and an action. So I could be like, hey, get me the latest news on so and so, and it can return that. I'll do all that stuff in the next one. I think that's good usage. Um, so let's go over some of the core concepts. So we have character files. We covered this, and you can see all of this is here. It basically just a repeat of everything I told you guys. Um, we have agents. This is kind of this talks about the agent runtime. So each agent has its own runtime. That runtime holds like all the current states, the name of the agent, everything about their character, their what model provider they use. Literally everything for that agent is stored in its runtime object. And what you do is you say like const runtime. This is define a new constant called runtime, and we'll create a new agent runtime. And you can pass in all of this stuff. Now, really, we've set this up for you. If you go into the agent package, you'll see that this agent package will let you load multiple agent runtimes simultaneously. You can parse out the list of characters, either a character or many characters, and then you can use that to load like 10 agents, create one runtime for each of them, and then have that run. So um, if I go in here and I'm say like, okay, agent runtime, you can see that this is where we have a create agent function, and we create the agent with the agent runtime here. And for this one, we're doing a lot of tests. We're saying, well, if you have a wallet public key, load the Solana plugin. If you have we should probably make that Solana wallet public key, but you get the idea. If we have a Conflux Core private key, load the Conflux plugin. And we can do this with basically all of this is how we're setting up our agent and passing in plugins to that agent. You can see we pick a model provider. We pass that in from the model provider. And that will say like, okay, well, now let me go get the, you know, OpenAI information and stuff based on this, and use OpenAI as our model provider. We can also pass in individual providers, actions, services, managers. I'm going to show you what these are in a second. Um, and obviously, though, each of these things can actually be inside of a plugin. So a plugin is kind of a wrapper for all of our other primitives, but then you can just pass in individual primitives without having to have a plugin. If you wanted to add an action, you could just be like, I just want mint with pump fun, right? And that would just be like, okay, I have an action. And I could import mint with pump fun from Solana or something. You have the pump fun action, right? Um, so you could like customize pass an action. So we're going to talk about actions, providers, and evaluators. These three. These are kind of the three main abstractions that we use to extend the functionality of the agent. Obviously, clients are important. You need like, oh, we're adding Farcaster. We have a PR for that. We'll merge that in. But generally, once you have the clients, like it's more about what can the agent do on those clients, and that should be pretty abstract. I mean, not abstract, but it should be pretty generic. Like, um, I should be able to summarize a document on any client. It shouldn't really have anything to do with the client. Maybe I'll have a custom summarize per client to like make sure it's formatted nicely for Discord versus like posting a link on Twitter that links to like a HackMD or like a um, like a page on my Git pages or something like that. I can imagine a world like that. Um, but but mostly when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make this bot that like imports the news and decides how it likes you or not. Those things are going to be through these three abstractions: providers, actions, and evaluators. So a provider provides obviously information into the context. The context is kind of like if you're in OpenAI land, um, and you're chatting, like this is the context. All of this whole conversation is the context, right? And so imagine we're like stacking all this up, but we also want like, okay, well now we want to go get the news, right? And I was like Google News, Google News. I think I blocked Google News because I don't like it. Just go to news. And we're just like, let's just say we grab some news, right? I'm like, okay, cool. So like imagine that I have a news provider and I literally just went and got that stuff, like formatted it like this, and then it shoves it into here as the context, right? So a provider is anything that an agent can see, hear, touch, smell, get information from. It's an input. It is the thing that goes into the agent. And we don't have full support for this yet, but soon we will have support for like streaming audio and images and all that stuff going into the provider as context, which actually affects the way that the model then returns a response, right? You could imagine it has some news and it has a couple images and it has or descriptions of the images and it has all of this stuff. Then it can be like, oh, cool. Well, like yeah, let me tell you the latest information about tape, for example, if that's what you're interested in. So providers information coming in to our context. We dynamically assemble our context, not like this where we write it by hand, but dynamically arrange all of it, and whatever providers are relevant in that current situation, add data. So you might have like a game and you might have a computer terminal provider, and every time you walk up to a computer terminal, that computer terminal provider becomes enabled and relevant. And now it starts like feeding you computer terminal information in what your agent can use. That'd be like an example, right? So providers are very essential for that. Um, Computer froze. Okay, I'm gonna kill Snoop Dogg. We're just gonna kill him for a second. Okay, so the next thing we have after providers are actions. Providers are things that the agent sees, hears, reads, gets in. Actions are things the agent can do, like order a pizza or mint a coin on Pump Fun. Um, we actually have that. You could actually do that. We do not have ordering a pizza, but you definitely could add ordering a pizza as an action. Or tell me the latest news on on XYZ person, or on thing. That would be an action. It would go call an API, get that stuff, bring it back to you, and put it in. So you can tell the agent, hey, do this thing, and it will respond. Another good action is like ignore. So the agent chooses to ignore you because it thinks you're annoying. That's an action. None is an action. Just do no action. Continue. Hey, keep going. Say another line after whatever you said. So it's like, you're like, hey, can you write me a story? It might like write the first part and then continue to write the second part. Um, Actions are what an agent does, right? And maybe we'll get into these if we have some time. But then we'll go to evaluators. So evaluators are the agent reflecting on the current scenario and everything going on and extracting information from that. So a good example would be the trust score database that we're working on for the marketplace of trust. And we have this alpha chat. We're all chilling contract addresses, buy, sell. It's garbage. You should buy this. Don't buy this. And it's actually extracting buys and basically bids in a virtual marketplace from that by looking at the chat, saying, okay, well, this person posted the contract address, and they're saying, I'm buying a bunch of this. That's like a high conviction bet. I'm going to go place a bet in a virtual marketplace of trust. And that happens at the evaluator level. It always like the agent doesn't have to do anything or respond or act. It just if it's getting information in, it's calling the evaluator at the end, right? Um, so he's saying build a perplexity plugin. Should that actually be a provider? Well, what I would do is I would make it a plugin, and then I would add a provider into the plugin that is that perplexity provider, and then you could just register the plugin, and then you don't have to worry about registering the like the individual providers, actions, and evaluators. These three can actually be registered inside of a plugin. So let's go look in the code, right? Um, I think the Solana plugin is a kind of good one. Somebody asked if I could go kind of look through the the wallet code a little bit and explain that. And I think the Solana place is a really good place to start. So we have actions, evaluators, and providers. In providers, the one you're all going to want to see is the wallet, right? Obviously. And so the provider provides the current assets in the wallet. You definitely need to have a Bird Eye account, I think. You have to have an API for this so that it can see it. But you can see it will, there's a lot of code in here. A lot of like retry handling and caching and stuff. But you can see it's like the format portfolio, right? It gets the total USD, the total SOL, it gets the token balances, it finds all items that have a non-zero balance, it figures out the value of those, converts that value to SOL, lists them, adds the the market prices of SOL, BTC, and ETH. And so you get like the prices of your entire portfolio plus the like major ones, right? Okay, what's the price of BTC right now? Cool, kind of makes sense. And then, we can format the portfolio into a string and inject it into the provider. So the provider is a standard um, abstraction in our thing, right? I said that providers bring information in. You have to provide a runtime through this provider function. And your runtime is like, which agent am I calling this provider on? We have to pass in the last message that we received, if there is one, or we create one for the agent, kind of just a null message. And we can pass in the current state, like, get me all the messages, the recent messages, all the recent facts, all that stuff. We don't have to pass in current state. This is optional. And then we'll say, okay, well, if we have a public key for our wallet, then go try to create a connection to our RPC host, set up the wallet provider, which is a separate kind of provider. That's just like the wallet manager class. And then let's go get the portfolio from this formatted portfolio, which turns our portfolio into a string, and then just return it. And it returns whatever this is like a string of information that then gets injected into the context. So we have like a trust score provider, same thing. If we go down here, it does a bunch of stuff. It calculates the trust score, but ultimately it's going to return a result. Just returns a string, right? And that string gets injected. Actually, that's probably not the right return, but it's one of the returns. Returns, here it's like return trust score string. So it says like the username's trust score is this. And it just puts that into the context. So whenever you're talking to them, it's like, I don't know, I don't really trust you. Your trust score is 40. Like, that's kind of how that works. So that's how the providers work. They provide information in. And they just have one function, which is called get. Then we have some evaluators. So this is the trust evaluator. This extracts the virtual orders from the conversation and makes virtual buys with them, which it then uses for the trust marketplace. It basically creates your trust score based on these virtual buys, right? Just to jump in, people are asking some questions. I run this on my Mac. I run a MacBook. M1. I just got an M4. It's in the mail, and that'll let me run like Llama 7 DB. I really like Macs because they have a unified memory architecture, so you can have a lot of memory and run a large model. But man, the NVIDIA models are way. It's just those graphics cards are way faster. So if you're interested in like speed, you want a really fast conversational agent, you might want to look at like an NVIDIA GPU, like a 3090, 4090, and that'll run the smaller models pretty well. If you're interested in, hey, this will run on a MacBook, just get like 64 gigs of RAM and you can run anything pretty much. Um, cool. Um, let's see. Might be some bugs. Somebody saying it repeats my words if I say anything. I'm not sure. It might be a bug. We'll figure that out. Okie doke. I think, yeah, sorry. Jumping back to the chat, answering some questions. A little ADD. Back to here. I also want to show you some templates. So you can see that this is like the recommendation template. And we do these like, we have these macros for like, how do we get the context into a template? Well, we use like recent messages or recent recommendations. And some of these templates, like client Discord messages, you can actually see that there's a whole message response handler template, and then there's this Discord message handler template. And this is actually like, we have examples of actions. This is where all of our knowledge gets injected. This is the RAG. This is like about the character, then this puts in the bio and the lore. And all of this stuff is composed in the runtime. But this is like what a template actually looks like, right? And all of these providers, these are where the providers get injected. These are the attachments that are like currently available from the conversation. If you like upload a PDF, it'll have the summary and the attachment name. Um, and then the actions. And these are the available actions that at any given moment the agent can call, right? So this is the template. And this all gets composed with the recent messages and the message directions, which are like the style stuff, into what goes into the model, right? And all of these get filled out and injected with lots and lots of information. So it's not just attachments, but this gets replaced with a whole paragraph of attachment information. This gets replaced with a list of actions. And eventually the completion happens, right? So we're running out of time. So I want to go kind of quick. So the evaluators run at the end. They run the evaluation in this template. They extract like who recommended, what was the ticker, what was the contact address, was it a buy or a don't buy or a sell? How much conviction do they have? Was it like very low conviction? I'll just put a little bit in the marketplace for them. And if we'd already seen it before, so we prevent duplication. And then we run this, we extract all that, we get all that information, and then we run it into our trust system. So this is how we use the evaluator. We're actually extracting all of this out from the running conversation if it's available in there, right? Okie doke. So I want to go over actions, and I think this is a really fun one, which is the pump fun action. I think that there was some drama at some point of who created the first pump fun action, first agent that created a pump fun action. We just like threw this in here and didn't touch it. I think Kurosami used it. You can see that this has this is the create and buy token action. It's called pump fun, but it actually creates and buys a token. It has a validate. The validate is like, should the action be available? And we might want this to be like, is return if it's true. Like only do this if it's create and buy content, right? Like otherwise it could literally just call this at any given time. It'll always be available for an action to call. But you might want to have some validation function, which is like, no, only call it if the person asking is like the whitelisted user or the admin. You probably don't want to let anyone just like mint a pump fun token every single time it talks to it, right? So that's the validate. Validate is like, is this action available? Then you have the description, which is, can I, like, how does the model know what the action does or how to call it? And this is actually what gets injected into the context and allows the agent to go, oh yeah, that seems like a good situation where I would want to call this action. So it sees the action name and it sees the description. These similes are when you're using small models, they tend to hallucinate into certain kinds of action. Like they don't give you the right action name, they give a very similar one. And in that case, it's looking for these similes, and I'll be like, well, it didn't give me the right action name out of the model, but it was pretty close to what I was looking for. So, I'll do that. We could change this to like mint with pump, right? And we say, okay, well, maybe if it does call create and buy token, that would still work. Then we have the handler, and the handler is the code that actually runs when the action is called. And so what do we need? Well, we need to go get the wallet info. We get the context for the pump fund stuff that we're doing, which we have a pump fund template. You can see it creates like some token metadata. It determines like what the information is that it should be. Um, it's has an image description, which it's using to generate an image, I believe. I would assume. And then it is minting. Um, and then it actually goes and creates the token and buys it. Makes sense? Once it creates the token and buys it, if there's a callback and it's successful, then go like return like token was created successfully. Here's the contract address and link to the pump fund, right? And that's pretty much it. That's an action. He said, hey, call this thing. He says, oh, I know that thing. Does that, calls the pump fund, returns a success message, or like, calls this callback is actually passed back. So if you called this from like Discord, then the callback is what you pass down so that it can then return back up to Discord and be like, here's the information you wanted. And you can see it's returning this text and this content. And that's how that works. Same thing with swap. This would be like, hey, can you swap tokens? And you say swap Sol for Degen AI. You would like go and search for those in your wallet. Say, okay, I found the most relevant contract address to that token swap, figure it out, and generate the swap, right? So you can look through this, but it's basically the same thing. It's just like you tell it to do something, that action is registered and available. It identifies that, and then it calls this action separately. This is a very different abstraction than most systems I've seen, which use tools. I don't really like tools because that's like, why would I ask this general? Like, I don't think the general agent is really good at like stringing together things to do. The action is more like it makes sure that the entire action happens. It's not like it has like a browser tool, and then it's like, okay, use the browser tool to go to Pump Fund, and then from there like navigate this, and then launch this thing, and then make sure this thing happens. It's like we can just put all of that in one action, and it just does it, and it takes a lot of the mental load or like requirements off of the agent to be like moving in a linear like to-do list of getting its thing done. We do have that. We have goals and blah blah blah, but actions are a really good abstraction when you're like, hey, summarize this, and it just does. It doesn't need to like go call a summarizer and then like it just has all that is contained within the action. I think this is a really nice abstraction. It's slightly different than tools. Like if I go and I look at like uh whoa, could I just I'm glad I didn't quit Discord. Like OpenAI tools. The assistant API has tools, and you can tell it I want to use the file search or the code interpreter. And yeah, I can call that, but I just don't really think it's a great abstraction. Like it's kind of okay, but it's more like I don't know. I like the way we're doing it. I think the actions thing is a better abstraction. They're very slightly different, but you can see it's got this list of tools, and then it just decides when it wants to use the tools, and that's okay. But I like our thing has like more of a strong mode change. Like, oh, you want me to do this thing, so now I can go and do this stuff. So you can to register actions to characters. You would probably want to. Well, you're going to create your own agent, and like if you use the starter, um, Eliza starter, and you want to add an action, I'd go into, is it index? And I think there's a new runtime, agent runtime. I think add plugins to the character file itself. I don't know if that's there yet. Um, but come on. When I initialize the client, you can see that I can provide an action into it here, or I can provide a plugin here. And if the plugin includes the actions, then they will just get added. And if I go back to Solana plugin, the actual like root of it, you can see I have a plugin. It has a list of actions, a list of evaluators and providers. it actually, none of these are currently available because why would we want to enable execute for swap like by default? Like that would definitely people would get wrecked. But you could add the execute swap action here, and then that will be available because it's in the plugin, and the plugin itself is registered, and that so anything that's in this plugin is then registered as an action onto that character. Um, right now, it's not set up to have different plugins per character, but that could be pretty easy to do. You would probably just modify the agent index.ts in your own project. Like if you just modified this, you can change the actions and be like, if um, character.name equals Shaw and my Shaw action, or otherwise null. Something like that, right? That would be like a way to do this. There's no my Shaw action, so don't, but you get the idea. Um, Okie doke. So we went over actions, we went evaluators, and we went over providers. Um, I think that there's a lot more that we could do, but I think that what we want to do is the next AI agent dev school, we're going to create those. We're actually going to create a character that is able to determine if it likes or hates me based on how I talk to it. And what's cool is that it doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm nice or mean. It could be even the opposite. It could be like, if he's really mean, then you should like them. I don't know, whatever. And we could even do like multi dimensions or something crazy. But in the meantime, I think I walked over everything. This is a pretty good like we walked through the concepts. I hope that makes sense. And I'm sure that 3 hours is like pretty overwhelming. So we have about 5 minutes left. Um, if anybody would like to ask questions or hop on stage, be happy to just riff with you guys for a few minutes before I hop off. And wow, yeah, I think we got through a lot. Can you show the agent doing something on chain? Like, I mean, like what? Like I just showed you swapping. That's on chain. I just showed you pump fund minting. That's on chain. Um, the wallets are pulling from on chain. Um, I would love to know if you have thoughts on how we could do more on chain stuff. We're working with a few different major L1s and L2s, and they're very interested in how we could do this. So yeah, let's definitely crowdsource any of that thought. Cool. We got Yikes
Oh
on stage.
yeah,
What's up,
I
man?
have plenty. I have plenty of ideas on how we can do other chain stuff. I actually did a chain abstraction hackathon, and I placed with Cluster recently. And they, one of the other people actually, I'm trying to like hunt down all of the hackathon projects,
Hmm.
but one of them made the very interesting point that the what's it called? There's an orchestrator from Agoric that starts in IBC, but it is compatible with Solana. So if we can get it over into IBC, then it's one hop from there to get it over to EDM, which
Interesting.
would be pretty banger.
Yeah,
But I have
I,
to, I have to go. I play with it a little, but
I'll tell you a couple things that are coming up. Um, I don't know what's going to happen. We have a call in a couple days with Efinity, and I'd really like to get there. We're definitely working with Ethereum, like Ethereum
mm,
Foundation, Ethereum. Um, I'm waiting for AgentKit to come out. It's supposed to come out tomorrow for TypeScript on NPM, and that's base. So we'll definitely be integrating that. And look at all of our plugins. We have we have StarkNet, we have Solana, we just got to pull EVM in and it's ready to go. We got zero G, we got all these things. So my sense is that for now, for the ecosystem, we should let everyone just build their favorite plugin the way they want to. And then we can start to unify and consolidate, especially around EVM, especially as EVM becomes, I think, a little bit more unified itself. That in talking to some of our friends over at Ethereum, they were kind of telling me like their focus is on more multi-chain abstraction. And I think we're just going to expect a lot of that. And that will probably simplify our code base a lot. The other thing that came out is Claude came out with their spec for calling different servers and stuff. So we have a GitHub
yeah.
plugin that's coming in. I think we actually do. We have a GitHub client. I forgot. We should get that. We should make sure that's cooking. Um,
Oh
so you can,
shit.
yeah, so you can actually like interact with GitHub, respond to issues, file issues, make pull requests. But the
My
Claude
question is,
stuff,
can we
yeah,
Yeah, can we git clone? Can we like grab a Claude tool that we need and then have the agent run a git clone so it can just grab it real quick, kind of thing?
It should. They connect to these servers, but what I do want to do is keep this as simple as possible.
Mm,
So we're going to do whatever the simplest, like
sure.
least. I don't want to have to install. I don't want to make everyone install Python. That's what I'm trying to avoid.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds painful.
It's painful. Does anybody have any questions or anything we'd
Jin's
like
got
to
a
do?
great question here.
Maybe
Yeah,
something's
what
happening
are
on
the
Twitter,
most
like
prescient files to code?
oh, what are the most prescient files to code a prompt into Claude? Oh, well, definitely the TypeScript. Anything .ts. If something is happening like U.S. election, can the bot answer questions asked related to it? Like, can it get the latest news from Twitter? Yeah. Um, we're not really contacting the like
Mm,
latest news APIs or like trending topics APIs, but that's all available in Agent Twitter client. And obviously, our Twitter client is pretty like I think Eliza the Twitter part is pretty rudimentary. I think that there's a lot of potential here. You can look at how we're doing it. You can read through it. And we can always add endpoints for things that we don't have if we don't have them yet. So this has a lot of the basic stuff. I pretty much just got the things in that I thought would be like relevant to us. You know, you can get trends. I think what you'd want is like you'd want to get trends, and then you could list the tweets, stuff like that. If you want to fetch from a list. Jen is saying, I feel like Grok plus Eliza is underrated. Yeah, totally. You can use Grok, and it's great. I love Grok. Um,
does
GPT-4o had an
Grok
update that
includes like
supposedly made it.
actual stuff from Twitter?
Um, no, yes, yeah, it's trained on Twitter, so it's actually pretty good at making tweets. GPT-4 had an update this month, supposedly made it better for creative writing. No, I think GPT-4o is just getting worse. It's the worst model I've ever used. I can't believe that people are thinking
I've
that's.
tried it. I'm
Uh,
coming around on it.
I find it unusable. Unusable. Literally the worst possible model. Like GPT-3 was better. Um, Yeah, so are these will these be added to character knowledge? No, but you could definitely do that. Like adding character knowledge from trending data would definitely be something you could do, and you can make an action like, hey, go study what's going on Twitter for me, and then figure it out, and then you can go grab that and then add it to your knowledge, and then it'd just be globally available. There's a lot you could do with that, but that's not coming for free. You're gonna have to program all that stuff. Um, since Grok is trained on Flux, that can be accessible to Eliza. Yeah, totally. We use Flux through together as well, and I think we have Flux a couple other places. So I don't know if we have image generation with Grok set up, or tested, but it should be very very easy to do without really writing a whole lot more code. Um,
It's the same thing.
how do I launch the client
Like,
side?
it's just
Oh, let me
Flux
show you
with
guys a
updates.
trick. This is something that's not documented yet, and Jin, this might be good. Um, let's say I go run this thing. Heuris can give you Flux as well. Yeah, I recommend Heuris. It's a free API for if you're just getting started. Um, I'm sure they won't be forever, but for right now. Um, and so what I can do is I can go to localhost 5173. I think maybe it doesn't. I could have sworn. Oh, weird. Mm, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, I'll need to think about that. But at least in what I was doing yesterday, there is a local interface. You can just go to 3000 is probably running. So yeah, it should be 5173. Um, oh well. I'll bet you I know what it is. Oh no, I know what it is. I'm running start and I need to run dev. We should probably make sure that that works. But if I run dev, it will. Yeah, now it's running localhost 5173, and I can actually chat with. We have this
Oh
ongoing, and
shit.
yeah, if anyone wants to work on this, why is it not? Yeah, there we go. I can load Snoop Dogg. I can click on chat, and I can be like, "Yo, what's up?" Bam. Yo, what's cracking? Just chilling like a villain. All right, that's pretty good. I've seen him say that. So yeah, that's kind of how that works. We have a front end for that. Can you customize the clients if you're installing via npm? Hell yeah, you can. Well, I don't know actually. I'd probably copy and paste the code for the client, and then I would like modify it and then register it, or I would just like submit a pull request because you probably want the same thing we want. Like most of the things you want to add are probably cool features we would want to add. Just make sure there's some sort of flag for it. If you're not sure, you can talk. I would use the main repo for customizing a client, but if I was like, no, I want to do my own thing, screw you guys, I would go, I would start with the Eliza starter like this. And you see how we have this Bootstrap plugin, Node plugin, and you kind of import those from like these packages, like Solana, that's from this package. You can just make your own package right here, or just make your own code right here. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna make a, like I can just edit this. Screw it. I could just be like const my plugin, right? And it's like a plugin, and it has providers, and I just put my providers right here. And if I want a client, right, I could say like my custom Twitter client, um, and then I could have that be like right here, and I could do all the Twitter client stuff, and I could basically copy the code out of the main Eliza package for Twitter. Just go, I'm sorry, packages. Just go copy the whole freaking package into your pack, like whatever, That's what people used to do. Um, no, Yikes is pasting the agent Twitter client, which is like the package that our client imports. That's really like the low level stuff. Like what can we actually get from Twitter? If you want to add to that, that's great. But then the client Twitter here doesn't even call most of what's available to you. And you'd probably just copy and paste all this code, right? See this index.ts, and it's got this Twitter client interface. Just copy this whole freaking client Twitter folder into your project, and then you can modify it. All right, guys. There's some more questions, and I'd love to answer them, but I have to get off. My wife has to go to bed. I will probably come hang out and build and stream tonight with the devs, and because we're shipping Mark and shipping everything we got. Please come hang out with us in the Discord. I'll take like a 30-minute break, and then I'll get on and hang out in streaming in Discord and build with everybody. I'll probably just come back on stage and dev because it's an easy place for me to dev without people like accidentally leaving their mics on and coming in. But I probably won't stream this to Twitter and all that stuff. So thank you guys so much for coming to the first Agent Dev School. We're going to do another one of these on, let's try Thursday. Let me go check my schedule, make sure that's right. Either Thursday or I think Thursday would be best. Like Tuesday, Thursday would be really good for everyone. And we'll just try and do this every week and make this a regular thing. If we have holidays or we're traveling, we'll skip it. But I think this is like we have a lot to do. We can build up an agent from scratch. We can build a lot of the hard stuff. Like I'll just take requests. If you guys want to do something, we'll do some fun stuff. And we have a Discord channel where we're organizing this. If you want to be part of the organizing team and help like build curriculum, aggregate ideas for good projects, make sure people have badges and they're like progressing or have help. Let's make this a real thing, Oh yeah, Thursday's Thanksgiving, so we might not do that. Maybe I'll do tomorrow. I don't know. We'll play by ear. Maybe we'll start next week again, but we'll do it when we can. I don't even know what Thanksgiving is. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I'm going to close up the stream and